Welcome all to today's webinar. So when I'm clicking, it's not come. Oh, yeah, it's welcome everybody. I am Manju Balan. My qualification is MCOM B.Ed and I have an experience of 20 years as teacher. I handle business studies in class 12 and in class 11 I take accountancy. I work at Bhavan's Newsprint Vidyalaya Vellore, and right at the moment also I am the resource person of Sri Narayani Training Center. So we'll be entering into today's agenda. We'll understand the meaning of innovative methods of teaching. We'll explore the need for innovative teaching methods in business studies. We will learn certain modern teaching techniques, and we will share and reflect on the practical application. So these are our agendas. There are certain ground rules for this session. I hope everyone actively participate in this session. You can use the chat box or you can either unmute yourself. Okay. This is an image. My question is, what business studies concept can you identify or teach using this scenario? Using this image, which business studies concept can you teach? Or what business studies concept do you identify from this particular picture? Teachers. I hope the teachers who have joined are the commerce teachers. So you can very well respond to it. Which business studies concept do you identify, or you feel like you can take this picture and teach it in your class? Which concept can you teach by this particular picture? There is a boy sitting and selling lemonade. Anybody? Teachers, please.
We can teach advertising or marketing.
Yes, sir. Advertising and marketing. We do have a chapter on advertising and marketing in class 12.
Can we also teach barter system?
Barter system. Yes, sir. The beginning of our trading system was barter. Yes, sir. Anybody else? Pushpa ma'am? Kavita ma'am? Okay. This is what exactly we should do in our classrooms also. We should inspire our students. This is the kind of thinking we should inspire in our students in our business studies classroom. We should always...
There are few answers in chat box, ma'am. You can check the chat box as well.
Okay, sir. Okay. Yes. Okay. So this is the kind of thinking we should always try to inspire in our classrooms, mainly our business studies classroom. So we should always connect the business studies concept with the real world context. And for this, we can just show a particular picture and do it. We need not use any textbook. We need not go for any long lectures, etc. And that is the power of innovative teaching. Now, innovative teaching is doesn't mean that you have to use any heavy tech tools or any complicated models. You can sometimes just presenting a familiar idea or concept in a more engaging and interesting way itself is an innovative teaching. So the one that is the picture that you have shown, and we have been identifying some business concepts, is just a simple and a powerful technique. Today, we will be exploring many more techniques that we can use in our business studies classroom. But before we enter into our topic of innovative teaching, let's understand what are the challenges there for our traditional teaching methods. Now, can somebody tell me what were the traditional teaching methods in business studies? What are the traditional methods that are involved in teaching business studies? Mostly teachers do that. Lecture way, yes. Yes, it is a teacher-led lecture sometimes. Sometimes it is just reading the textbook. These were the traditional methods of teaching business studies. That was, and we also at times we do it in that way. Sometimes in order to complete the syllabus, we do it in that way. Or it can be a teacher-led discussion, or what we call it as chalk and talk method. That can be also the one of the ways of traditional method of teaching. Now, this traditional method of teaching business studies has got its own limitations. The first limitation is that it lacks practical application. See, the traditional method focuses on theory only, and it does not connect any way with the real world situations or real world business. So what happens is that students struggle to see how the business works in the real world. It becomes difficult for them to imagine or to get an insight into it. Low student engagement. The traditional method of teaching is mostly lecture method. That is, there is only one-way communication in those methods. So it always leads to boredom and leads to passive learning. The third one is minimal use of technology. There is an underuse of stimulations, digital platforms, then the digital tools, then multimedia. All these have been not at all used or underused in traditional method of teaching. And so opportunity for interactive learning for students is being lost there. Next is weak critical thinking development. Critical thinking is one of the 21st century skills, which have to be, even NEP says us to enhance those critical thinking skills. But traditional method of teaching emphasizes more on memorization. So it does not give enough scope for developing critical thinking skills or problem solving abilities, etc. The next is flexibility in teaching. The way that students learn, the learning style of different students are different. The learning styles of students can be either auditory, or it can be visual, or it can be kinesthetic. But this traditional method of teaching does not cater to the different styles of learning. It just follows one particular method. It does not suit to it does it in a unanimous way, and the teaching happens in a unanimous way, not writing to a specific person, etc., not looking after into the individual needs of the children. Then last one is that poor real world experience. Children lack an insight into how the business really operates because they are only listening to the teacher. Whatever the teacher is saying, that is they can't imagine it, they can't visualize those things. So they really lack an insight into how the business really operates. So this traditional method of teaching actually falls short in preparing students in the modern business world. So what is the type of teaching that we require while we are imparting our knowledge of business studies? The method is that it must be something, the approaches must be like, it must be flexible, it must be interactive, and it must be practical in nature. That type of teaching is what is required while delivering the content of business studies. Now, why do we say that? Why business studies matters? See, business studies is a subject that provides comprehensive knowledge of key concepts. Certain key concepts are being taught in business studies. It's marketing, finance, then it is entrepreneurship and management. Business studies should be taught to the students in such a way that they are able to develop the critical thinking skills, problem solving ability, and do have a strategic mindset. See, these critical thinking skills, problem solving ability, and strategic mindset, or say decision making abilities, these are not only valuable in the corporate world, they are also needed for our everyday life. One of the significant benefits of business studies or business education is that it is its real world application. See, when you give a child a case to analyze a case study, that is what our question papers are all about. Business studies always has case studies questions more. Case study, when you are giving a child with a case study to analyze a case study question or to create a marketing campaign, we are actually exposing our children to the practical challenges that are being faced by the business. So we should provide the students with hands-on experience so that they can prepare themselves for the complex problems that will be occurring in the business. And business studies should be taught in such a way that the students equip the knowledge and skill in such a way that they become successful in the business world. That should be our motive, that should be our intention. And it actually prepares the students to take up career in business and also to foster a entrepreneurial mindset. So that is why business studies, imparting of business studies should be not done in a traditional way. It should always follow the modern technique or the interactive techniques, etc. Now, business studies is for a dynamic world. We are preparing tomorrow's leaders. We are preparing tomorrow's business leaders. We should be always remembering it. So the dynamic world is always marked by a rapid change in technology, market, society, etc. So the technology, market, society, workplace, norms, etc. are all evolving day by day. They are always changing. And students don't need these bookish knowledge. They need something which is going beyond the bookish knowledge. You have to go beyond the textbooks. They need to develop a critical thinking skills, able and adaptability, leadership skills, communication skills. These are mostly needed to be developed in the students. The world of business studies is rapidly evolving. The key drivers of this rapid changing business world is like globalization, technology, innovations, all. And business studies helps the student to understand, adapt, and thrive to these changes. See, there is a very famous quote, and that has been given on your screen. The only constant in business is change. In a business, you will find changes, which is always there. Every time the one or the other things keeps on changing. We already teach all this in our business studies classroom. When we teach a business environment, we are all doing this. See, so changes are inevitable in business. Now, what are the key forces that are driving changes? The first among them comes technological innovations. Under it comes your AI, the artificial intelligence, automation, digital platforms. See, why do business use these AIs? AIs are used to improve the decision making, to reduce the human errors, to analyze the data, and to increase the efficiency. Now, all the businesses go for automation also, or just because they want to lower their lower their cost and increase their productivity, and that is why they go for automation. And today, every business is into the digital platform. Everyone is onto the online business. And in order to stay competitive, this digital platform helps the business to remain competitive in this today's business world. So if you have to beat the competition, you must be also the business must be also doing is parallelly is online businesses. That is what today every business also does. The second key force is globalization and trade. Globalization and trade have actually made the world into a single marketplace. We only have one market, that is global market. With the advent of this globalization, businesses are expanding their operations globally. Now, the benefits of globalization are that it helps the business to access new markets beyond this home country and increases the customer base also. But when the businesses go for globalization, what is that? They have to localize their product and services so that it can suit to the cultural needs and cultural preferences of the people. But one of the disadvantage of globalization is that it intensifies. The competition is very intensified when we go into globalization. And then you have to think of how to beat the competition. The businesses have to think of how to beat the competition. So they have to think of how to improve their quality of their product as well as reduce cost. So globalization and trade are very much in today's business world. The next is sustainability and ethics. Sustainability and ethics are actually the key drivers of today's business world. Without sustainability and ethics, the businesses cannot survive and do the business for a long term. So customers today prefer those companies who are actually caring about the environment, then doing a fair trade practices, and they support the workers' rights also. People admire those type of companies. Green products, ethical sourcing are the major drivers in today's world. Even government also is more strict on the matters like environmental. What is the environmental impact done by the businesses on the society? Government also ensures that the business is doing with the fair trade practices. In this context, I would like to say regarding the case of Unilever. Unilever is a company that integrates sustainability in all its operation. And recently also we have got a very innovative company, Tesla. It is also coming into this sustainability by revolutionizing the auto industry by promoting clean energy. The EVs are being launched by them. So the sustainability and ethics is now not a option. Every businesses are to do the sustainability and ethics. As they think about the profit maximization, they must also think about sustainability and ethics. So that is also a key driving force for every business. Now, shifting consumer behavior. Consumers' behavior are also very much shifting nowadays. From the in-store to the online, it has changed. People are not now brand loyal. They keep on changing their brands every now and then. And people in their journey of the customers comes the two important terms, that is digital platform and online research. That has become very important nowadays. Even the social medias also influence this customer behavior. So all those must be looked into. When you're teaching business studies to the children, you must be telling regarding all these things so that they have a mindset that all these things are happening in our business, and so we have to be also thinking about it and doing the businesses when we are in the future. Now, preparing future leader learners. We are actually preparing for our future leaders, for future business leaders. We have to emphasize on adaptability, global mindset, and continuous learning. Continuous learning because our business, as I said, changes is inevitable in business. So we have to be always keeping on learning. Business studies actually equips the student not only with the subject knowledge, but also with the skills, mindsets, and adaptability needed to succeed in the fast-changing world. We have to make our students familiar with the terms like cryptocurrencies, blockchain, digital platforms, digital payment, etc. All these terms must be familiar with this. And we must also teach them the importance of budgeting, investing, and managing the finance responsible. That is, financial literacy must be also provided to them. We have to, in our classrooms, also try to bring about awareness among our business studies students regarding the social and economic trends that are being following. So business studies is actually a launch pad for many careers. You can you have to through teaching business studies, you have to develop entrepreneurial mindset among the students itself. They must be prepared to take careers in diverse industries. We have to equip them so that our learners become self-employed and have startups. This should be our goal when we teach business studies. And for this, traditional methods are not just enough. Innovative methods of business studies, teaching business studies. As educators, we should always facilitate a collaborative learning environment that encourages students to actively participate in discussions, debates, and group activities. Children will be hesitant to involve into the discussion. We should prompt them. We should motivate them to involve in the discussions, in the debates, in the group activities, collaborative works, etc. We must give opportunities in that way. And we can do all this by an interactive learning process. We can do this. See, as teachers, we should not just disseminate the knowledge. That's not enough for us. We should also encourage the students to apply their theoretical knowledge in the real business situations. So that is why case studies have to be all analyzed. We have to give them more case studies only to so that they can apply this concept into the real business scenarios. So for this, we can use the case studies, we can use simulations, we can use hands-on projects, etc. can be provided for their practical learning. So when we do this, what happens is that we bridge the gap between the practice and the theory. And when we bridge the gap between this, then they will be actually developing what I earlier said, the 21st century skills, that is the problem solving skills, the decision making skills, etc. will be. Critical thinking skills can be developed only by when we bridge the gap between the theory and practice of business. We should always focus on the real world application, collaboration, use of technology. We should use technologies in our in medium of instructions also. We should also use the technology like Kahoot and all those things so that we can engage the students in our classrooms. We should prepare learners so that they become successful in this dynamic and evolving business environment. Now we'll move into the methods. The first one is gamification. In the gamification, we actually give certain points, badges, leaderboards, etc. To make the learning more fun, engaging, and motivating for students. So like you can use business quizzes, you can use stimulation games like Marketplace Live, etc. Say, let us take an example like we take marketing mix challenges. We should divide our groups of children, and each team should be given with a fictional product. And we'll ask the children to design the 4 P's of marketing and to pitch it in the class. Now, what happens this is that they are applying the theoretical knowledge into the real world situations. So that is the impact of gamification. They're practically doing things. So this is what we should do in our business studies classrooms. Next is role play. A role play is actually you have been making the students to act out in the real life situation, or sometimes you have to give them a specific role so that they can explore the concept from different perspectives. So you can ask them to become the CEO for the day, and you can ask them to make a financial plan to ensure smooth operation. Ask them to estimate the cost of production. What will be the expected revenue? What are the forecast for your how much financial needs, how much money you require? What are the appropriate sources of finance? See, this you can do when you're teaching financial planning chapter. You can do it. So what happens is that they enhance their communication skills, decision-making skills, and they also have empathy. So you are actually stimulating the real business situation in a very safe environment when we do this role play. And children also develop many skills like critical thinking skills while learning and learning becomes more realistic and also very active. So that is the benefit of role play. Next is PBL, project-based learning. Project-based learning, the students learn through actively engaging in some project, meaningful projects. So instead of just listening to us and reading, students explore that topic. They try to plan for it. They research on it and they create either a product or they come with a beautiful solution for that particular problem. So that can be done. So students work on the real life business projects or challenges. They research it. So that is will be teamwork also. It can be given in the groups. So there will be a teamwork skills also. These are also much required in today's business world. So you from class 11's topic, let us say, let's give them a topic of private sector and public sector to make a comparative study of private sector and public sector. We'll divide our classrooms into groups, and each group should take one public sector company and one private sector company, and let them research and compare the ownership and control, objectives and missions. So that such subheadings to be given to them. And like area of operation, what is the capital investment, what is the contribution to the economic development. So they get a vast knowledge regarding how the public sector and how the private sectors are working, how they are involved in the economic development of the country. They get a real view of these particular chapters. Okay, so that is project-based learning. Next is group brainstorming. See, attendees, I have given 2 questions. They are brainstorming questions, like frame some strategies to respond increasing competition. So the students come up with many ideas, some strategies by which they can beat the competition, or what can they do if the competition is very high. So they will come up with strategies. You can ask them such questions, or you can ask that after teaching the FIOLs all the principles, 14 principles of FIOL, you can ask them, how can you apply this FIOLs principle in managing your school fest? You can ask them. Such brainstorming questions can be asked to them. And when you give such brainstorming questions, actually the idea generation happens. So creativity is happening there. When they work in groups, the group dynamics also is taking place. They have that listening skill, not only communication skills, the listening skills are also being developed. They listen to what others are speaking. So such type of qualities can be developed when we are going with this brainstorming session. So such questions must be posed before the students. You can have this brainstorming before the classes also, or even after, during the class hours, when the class is on, you can such brainstorming questions must be framed. Such suitable brainstorming questions might be framed and should be asked. You will get wonderful answers from these children. So that brainstorming sessions can be conducted in our classrooms. Next is flipped classroom. In flipped classroom, actually, you are reversing the traditional learning methods. The traditional learning process has been reversed. See, here what you do is that you ask the students to learn something, either from a PPT that you have made, or maybe the PPT you have shared with them, or some online materials that are available. You ask them to learn and learn. And in the classroom hours, what you do is that you involve in the discussions and problem solving, etc. So that is flipped classroom. Again, taking the principles, FIOL principle, 14 principles. You give the 14 principles PPT, or say some materials to them so that they can learn, go through, read it, the materials. You can also give certain worksheets that will tell the definitions of these 14 principles. You can give certain formative questions for that, where they can have that sort of like match the following, fill in the blanks, etc. to check their understanding, that much only. Just when they come to the classroom, after a quick recap, what you have to do is that you have to give them case studies. Give them the case studies. Let them analyze the case studies. Say in one of the case studies, the principle of discipline is lagging. Let the child identify which principle is lagging in that case study and how he can resolve it. such things can be given. That is what the beauty of flip classroom is. So higher order thinking skills have been also developed through this flipped classroom, because the lower orders are already done at home. So the higher orders can be done at the class. So class time can be used for discussion, problem solvings, and projects. So the child has a deeper understanding of those concepts that are being taught. So that is flipped classroom. Next is entrepreneur guest speakers. You can invite some real entrepreneurs to your class and ask them to speak to your children. Let them speak about their journey in the business, their struggles, their experience, their challenges that they have faced. You can ask them. When the students speak, when the student listen to these particular people, they really understand that these are actually the real problems. Instead of we always keeping on telling, it is better they listen from a person who has really experienced all these things. So this will inspire the students, and they can connect the theory with the real world practices. So in this context, I would like to say that our alumni can be used. The alumni students who have become entrepreneurs, they can be called, and they can be asked to take a class to share their experience, etc. So that will be really motivating the students also to come up with they will also try deciding that we will also have a startup when we once our education is over. Such type of inspiration can be also be possible. Next is infographics. Infographics is a visual tool that combines text, charts, and images, etc., just to present the information very clearly. So the complex concepts can be understood well if such infographics are being used. Or say you can, even these infographics can be used to retain information. See, the one picture that I've given here is regarding, if somebody could answer it, it's regarding, anyone can answer it? It's regarding the delegation, elements of delegation. So there is authority, responsibility, and accountability. Towards which direction is authority and responsibility going? How is accountability being, and who is giving the authority and responsibility? Who is accountable to whom? All these are being well explained. The picture itself is self-explanatory. So infographics are used to, and I mean, you can ask the children themselves to do this. Let them do it, so their creativity will also increase. So it is said that a good infographics is worth 1,000 words. Instead of writing many things, you just present it in such simple, what you can call simple words, simple pictures. Next is storytelling. Storytellings are not just for bedtime. It is also a good method or a good technique to engage your students. Children of any age are really happy to listen to a story. Even in our class 12, when we start saying a story, surely they will listen to you. They will be very attentive. So you can teach them, certain concepts can be also taught through storytelling. Such a concept that I had applied in my classroom, I have been given that the ant and the grasshopper. This story is something which is familiar to everyone. And the concept that I wanted to teach them was regarding planning. The ant had planned well for the rainy season. So he had stocked every food item, but the grasshopper didn't do so. So the importance of planning, etc., or the limitations of planning, etc., comes out in this story itself. So such stories can be narrated. So you have to narrate the story very well, that they listen to you and they understand what you really want to speak to them. So you can not only these fictional stories, you can also take the stories of real life stories can be taken. The entrepreneurs who became very successful, those can be the successful startup stories can be also being told in the classrooms. So that will be all inspiring to them also. And turnaround tales. Turnaround tales are those like the firms that were had gone through had been fallen below, and they raised after many efforts, they raised up. Like one beautiful example is regarding Apple. In the mid 90s, Apple company was suffering with many problems. There was the decline in the market share. There was no new innovations happening in those companies in those times, and there were internal conflicts were also going on in the Apple. It was in 1997 that Steve Jobs came back, and then he took many what you can call a series of bold moves, I can say. So like he reduced the product lines. He then introduced the iMac and the iPod, and then the iPhone, and then it was your iPad was being launched. Now the company is turned into the most valuable and innovative companies. So such stories inspire the students also. Such turnaround tales can be also told to them. So you will find many stories of such stories that you can give in the business studies classes. The business stories itself can be explained. Okay, so then you can also relate those stories with some of the business concepts also. Now, these are some of the newspaper cuttings that we can use these newspaper cuttings in our classrooms also, because they actually tell regarding some of the concepts that we teach in our classroom, like hiding drinking habits while purchasing health insurance justifies rejection of claim, Supreme Court. See, this is actually can be taught from the class 11 insurance, utmost good faith. That the person was a chronic alcoholic person, and then he took the policy without giving the details regarding his problems, and then he was hospitalized. But then the claim was been denied because he had not given all the information. The utmost good faith actually tells regarding that. These clips, newspaper clips, can be used in your business studies classroom to teach such concepts. SEBI imposing the fine over these former officials. This is actually the regulations, functions of SEBI, the regulatory function of SEBI. That can be, when we have got the theater fined rupees 13 lakh for overcharging 2 customers. If teachers are really familiar with it, they can tell me which chapter can be teach while by showing this particular paper clip. Overcharging 2 customers by rupees 12 in 1912, in 2019 in Hyderabad. Consumer protection, that is also. So our from the newspaper cuttings itself, we get many things that can be related to our subject. That is business newsrooms. You can turn your classroom into a business newsroom. You can connect the business newses into the business studies concepts. Even it may not happen when you are teaching the particular chapter. You can have weekly news bulletins by students. You ask them to prepare the news items that are happening in the business world. They will prepare and come. You can relate it. You can tell them or such. In that way, you can make them relate to the whatever changes are happening in the country. Those can be reflected in our classrooms also. So you can discuss on these business newses, policies taken by the government, etc., the social economic trends, etc., going on. You can always what you can say, you can always discuss, have a discussion on it. So children will be also engaged, and children will be also up to date with the what is happening in the outer world. Now this diagram, it's actually a mind map of our chapter called organizing. So mind maps are also a visual technique to organize information so that we can, it has been created by diagrams. Like the central idea is been kept, the core idea is kept at the center, and then the subtopics and the related ideas are then being branched out in this way. So this actually helps the student in having a deeper understanding. Then it also helps in assisting how to organize the information, etc. They have a clarity and they can retain these things in future also. They can retain. So it is a visual learning method, mind mapping. Okay. Now, Now, before I end it, I would like to say that all these innovative teaching methods should be used by us so that we can make our students grow and excel in this dynamic world. See, we as teachers are very much responsible for creating the next business leaders or future business leaders. Always remember that in our classrooms, the students whom we are teaching are all the future leaders of our who are going to handle the business tomorrow. So we should be teaching them in such a way. Thank you all.
So those who have any queries can come forward and ask the resource person so that she can help you in clarifying your doubts. We would really appreciate that. No one has a query? Okay. So, is there anyone who would like to give your feedback to the resource person? Especially this being a subject-specific webinar, that too about business studies, it would be really helpful for the resource person for her upcoming sessions. Okay. Manju ma'am, can you kindly give a glimpse about the Train the Trainer session?
Sorry, sir, I didn't hear you.
About our Train the Trainer course, can you kindly give a brief, this thing about introduction about it to the participants?
Sir, I didn't hear you, sir. Can you just repeat what you said?
Okay, that's fine. So, dear participants, that's all for today. And I would really like to appreciate Mrs. Manju Balan for a subject specific, especially about business studies, that she has come forward with a session as in how innovatively we can teach a subject that is business studies. So the people who have uh, the interest to grab a certificate for this particular session can pay rupees 50 towards the number that I am writing in the chat box, 9908925730. So this is a number. You can pay rupees 50 through GPay, PhonePe, or Paytm and send a screenshot along with your complete name to the same WhatsApp number. And within 24 hours, a certificate will be generated and it will be sent to you. Please remember 24 hours. I believe that's all for the day. Thank you, one and all. Looking forward to have you all in the upcoming sessions as well. And thank you, Manju ma'am, for such a wonderful
Thank you,
session.
sir. Thank you also.